Hello everybody and welcome back. I am your guy, I am the guy, I am that guy, and welcome to the PowerPoint presentation. Now, I got creative a little here, and I was like, I wanted to do a rankography for Green Day for quite a while now. And I was like, dude, there's no way my tablet could be able to handle talking about 13 albums. The storage would be gone. So I was like, okay. So I just never knew of a way I could do that. Until now, when I decided to start showing my face in videos, because now I can do this monstrosity. Welcome to the PowerPoint presentation, and this is how I'm going to do all my music videos from now on. I'm going to run them all through PowerPoint. I don't know if that makes me lazy, but like, it's one way to do things, and this is definitely original. So, without further ado, let's get a little introduction to Green Day. Green Day is just your everyday punk band. Okay, not everyday punk band. They helped bring punk into a huge light. It made it one of the popular genres in the 90s. Do they deserve that fame? Well, let's find out. Welcome to Rankography of Green Day, PowerPoint edition. You all know the 13 albums. They're albums, alright. And there are definitely 13 of them, so without further ado, let's start this album off with number 13. Father of All. Came out in 2020. This is awful. This is my least favorite album of all time. The rollout for this was horrible. Everything that happened with them, with like the NHL and then the motherfucking Billboard and the cover art for it. Like I thought all this was some ironic gag, and they were gonna come out with like some like actual album later that year or sometime this year, but that does not seem to be the case. I think this is clearly ironic, and that fact alone makes this album hard to stomach. They went like full like I don't even know what genre it is. Shitcore, that's what the genre it is. Oh my god, this album is so bad. Okay, flaws, everything. The writing is mediocre and bland at best, shallow at best too, and insulting at worst, and amateurish also at worst. And that's not a good thing. That wouldn't be bad if you weren't on your 13th album. This is their newest output. Oh my god, this album's bad. The only song that I can stomach on here is the title track, but even that, I don't come back to that song at all. Everything about this, like the uncut nature of this. If you claim this is uncut, how is it 10 songs, less than 30 minutes, and your first album in 4 years? No, it's definitely cut. there has to be something that's uncut about this. I don't know what Swedish songwriters did to Green Day either, but they were just not happy with them. Also, the trap beats thing was kind of stupid. Oh my god, this album it highlights everything wrong with Green Day in the modern era, and it does not skip a beat. It sounds like shit too. The production's okay, but the ideas that they went for is with like power pop maybe, but even that sounds like an insult to power pop. Any genre you put this in sounds like an insult to it. It's just horrible. Alright, number 12. 39 Smooth, 1990. This is awful as well. We're not starting off very positively, but this album is not good. It is so boring. It is so boring. Oh my god. The boredom that this thing ensues is insane. There's really nothing worth coming back to on this either. You just sit there. I don't remember how long this album is, but you sit there for however long it is, and you come out of it going, wow, I just wasted a lot of time. I think it's like 30 or so minutes. Even then, it feels like way longer than that. It is the most generic punk of all time. It's not generic for 1990 standards, but it has aged horribly. Um, there's no fun to be had with this project. If you can enjoy it, then by all means keep enjoying it. But I can't get any joy out of this project, and I don't think I'll ever come back to this. 11 Uno. This okay. This album is the most generic thing ever, dude. Like, this sounds so one note and one dimensional. Almost every song is structured the exact same way, and it's every time an instrumental bridge comes on, I scream in anger because it's the formula for all of these. There's a verse, chorus, post chorus, instrumental bridge, chorus, outro. Like, oh my god. Sometimes not even an outro. Sometimes it's an instrumental outro. But to be even more dangerous, sometimes there's no instrumental outro. Just ends up with the chorus. I don't have much to say about this besides of how poorly it's written. It is the most. This writing insulted me. Like, it made me so angry. I think this is the worst Green Day was at for a creative low. They're all just unlikable love songs, almost all of them, and none of them are pleasing to listen to. The only song that I kind of like on here is Nuclear Family, but even then, that song's just like not totally awful. That's all I had to say about Uno. It is not good. It was the first album in their 2012 trilogy. A trilogy that should not have happened. There are so little ideas in that trilogy, but I'll get into that later. 10 Trey. The last album in the 2012 Uno Dos Trey trilogy. This album was made for the sole reason to complete that trilogy, by the way. There is almost no reason for this to exist. Seriously, I can't. There's nothing here. Oh my god. This. You could tell Green Day just wanted this trilogy to be over too at this point, because there was like no love put into this, and you can tell. It just seems so rushed and unfinished, unpolished, on everything. The only good track on this thing is Dirty Rotten Bastards, which is honestly one of the best 2010s Green Day songs. But the only 2010s albums that Green Day released were these three and then Revolution Radio. So it's not too big a competition. Just put Modern Green Day, everything post 21st Century Breakdown. One of the best songs in that god-forsaken era of Green Day. But I don't really know if I don't think there's really like no one I can think of that thinks this album is worthwhile. I don't think anyone even does. There's zero reason for this album to exist. They just wanted to finish the Uno Dos Trey trilogy. And it's not fun to listen to. It's incredibly boring. I don't even remember half the musical directions. I think it's more stripped back than the first two. But even then, it's just not good. Okay. 9. This might catch me a little fire here, but 9 is Dookie, the 1994 release that pushed Green Day into fame. Some people also call this a sellout, but it doesn't sound much different than Kerplunk. It's so repetitive. It's like Una more tolerable, and every song sounds almost the exact same. Billy Joe's voice is not fun to listen to. Also, like he like over exaggerates his words like this, and it sucks. It sucks. I hate the way he sings sometimes. Instruments here are okay. But I feel like this album is very forgettable, too, and I don't think it's aged well at all. I don't have much else to say about this album, dude. It is not very good. If you like this album, all the power to you, but I cannot get behind this album on any day. Insomniac, number 8, 1995 release. It's just Dookie, but like again, it's stylized so similarly to Dookie, but it's a little better because this album has Panic Song and Brain Stew, which are 2 incredible songs. This album shouldn't be like 16 tracks long either. That's another problem I have with Dookie. It wasn't a long album, but there were way too many tracks on it. Same with this album, not long, but there's a few too many tracks on it that probably don't really need to be on this album. There's a lot of pointless songs on here. So many forgettable songs. It's not the worst thing, and that's a step in the right direction for Green Day, I guess. It's not horrible. Number 7, Dose, 2012 release, second part in Green Day's trilogy album. The most people find problems with, and I can see that. This seems like a more fun and risk-taking version of Uno, but the risks this album we're taking were ideas that aged, or they're past their expiration date. But on that note, there are a few good ideas on this project. Like the strip back to Amy is a very good tune. Stray Heart, while forgettable at times, is a great song. I don't know how a song can be forgettable at times. It's just like sometimes I forget it. Other songs, Nightlife gets a lot of hate, and I can see that. But I honestly think that rap verse is kind of fire, and it's not written well, like, at all. But like it's past 21st century Green Day. What do you want? 21st century breakdown Green Day. Makeout Party and Fuck Time are like 2 of the worst songs Green Day's made, dude. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I forgot about this album. This drooping lows. There's some things that, like all Green Day albums, that I cannot forgive, and this album has its fair share of those. Its lyrics are awful, but like, I guess I'm willing to look past it because some of the instrumentation is kind of fun and groovy at times. But it is not good as an album. But there are a few tracks that are worth coming back to. Number 6, the 1991 Kerplunk. This is a very charming release, I will give it that. And it has a lot of staying power, and it is not forgettable very much. At the same time, it suffers with a problem that I think a lot of Green Day albums suffer from, and that's boringness. This album can feel like it drags on forever. No One Knows is not a very good song. It is so boring and pointless. Like, the bass line is kind of good, and then they just like destroy it. Like, and then Billy's vocals are just uninspired in that song too. But take a look at my standout tracks. One for the Razorbacks, Welcome to Paradise. This version of Welcome to Paradise. I'm the only person I know that thinks the Kerplunk version of Welcome to Paradise is so much better than the Dookie version. But yeah, One for the Razorbacks, Welcome to Paradise, and One of My Lies are honestly probably some of the best 90s Green Day songs. Not many casual Green Day fans know about this album, just because it did not get very attention because this came out before Green Day made it big. And I think this is a neat album to come back to and take a listen to. It's Green Day's second project, their first true album since their debut album, which is a combination of 2 EPs. So this is technically, in a way, their first album, and honestly, it's not that bad. It can be pretty good at times, but if you can get past some boring moments, then you'll have a fun time with this album. Number 5, Nimrod. And now we're finally getting into albums that I actually enjoy. King for a Day is probably, honestly, one of my favorite Green Day songs, like, ever. Nice Guys Finished Last, Scattered, Warrior Rock. Other songs, good, like Grid Riddance and Prosthetic Head. Those are some of my favorite 90s Green Day songs. Not even just 90s in general, just favorite Green Day songs, like, period. Nimrod is their 1997 release that I feel, while still staying true to Green Day's roots, it's something more than that. It's way more experimental than just your normal everyday punk record. It's not too much more experimental, but it's different. And that's what I think Green Day needs the most. Because while they can do punk well, when you do nothing but punk for as long as they do it, and at this point it was only like 7 or so years. But still, you've done so far that I did not like Dookie or Insomniac very much. And 39 Smooth's one of my least favorite albums of all time. The only album that I could really stomach from this group up to this point was Kerplunk. So it was good seeing an album that didn't go by the book. And I honestly come back to this album way more than that I expect myself to. 4, Revolution Radio, 2016 release. I don't know what to say. This is, for whatever reason, a pretty good modern Green Day album. And that's like the legends can't be true, but like, yeah, this is a pretty fair release from Green Day in 2016. Still Breathing, I think, is probably undoubtedly the best 2010s Green Day song. That or Dirty Rotten Bastards. Or maybe even Revolution Radio. Forever Now. Dude, this album has a lot of good songs. But at the same time, it has songs like, I don't remember what it was called, Outlaws or something like that, and that song is awful. I know some people like it, actually more than some, a lot of people like it, but I could not get down with that album, dude. Not that album, that song, sorry. That song's vocals were so, ew. Like, everything about that song was just so horrible to listen to. Besides that moment, I think everything else here is either mediocre or slightly not good or great. There is very little room for error in Revolution Radio. There are some mediocre to bad moments, but besides that, it's a pretty fun 2016 Green Day record. And it made me have faith in the band until Fireball came out, and then, yeah, that's. But I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Now we're getting into the top 3 here, and the top 3 here are some great albums. We'll start with the overrated pick, American Idiot, the 2004 release. Some people think this is like the best album of all time, and like, that's a stretch, but I can definitely see liking it. I like it myself. 80 out of 100 is a pretty good score. This song holds Jesus of Suburbia, which is one of my favorite songs ever. Even like Saint Jimmy, like all my standout tracks and like plus Holiday are amazing songs. I would say the same for Boulevard Broken Dreams and not even Wake Me Up When September Ends. Even when I first started Wake Me Up When September Ends, I was kind of torn on it, and still I'm a little torn on it. Extraordinary Girl's horrible though. I guess for like a more, I wouldn't say poppy sound, but a more like laid back sound, and it does not fit well with this album's tone. Plus the writing is really bad. This is a rock opera about some like weird teenage coming of age story, and it's not a bad story per se, but it is not very easily followed. There you can definitely see themes running through this album, but it's hard to piece together a story. It's not too hard. Okay, it's a little difficult. Some moments that are like, you seem like aren't significant, like I don't know what else to say about the story of this album. I don't want to get too deep into it because truthfully, I don't know very much about it. But I think this is for its time, a great Green Day album, and I think it's aged kind of poorly, but still pretty well. The style N4 was like a massive punk, rock, like punk / rock opera, and while it doesn't nail those themes completely, it does do it pretty damn well. Now let's go on to a controversial take. This list has been full of controversial takes, so yeah. 21st Century Breakdown, the 2009 release. An hour long. Okay, I saw that hour long fucking runtime, and I was like, Jesus. But no, like, it doesn't justify an hour long runtime, but it was not as painful as I thought it was. It actually has a lot of great tracks. It goes for like American Idiot, but more, I wouldn't say watered down, but more like ballad-esque. And even then, it, like, I'm only saying that because there's a piano added to the huge rock grooves. It's really just American Idiot, but again, and a little better, with a little more versatility, maybe. But a lot of people don't like this as much as they like American Idiot, which makes sense because it's. I don't know how to explain it, but there's just something about it that's like not incredibly likable, but I like it because I just think it nails the style it goes for. The huge rock tone, not really huge, but the rock tone and the kind of laid back vibe of some of these songs are really nice. But even the like bigger songs like American Eulogy, Christian's Inferno, Peacemaker, Murder City, those are also great songs. But like the more laid back songs like 21 Guns, Last Night on Earth, those are some really great songs. There's a lot of hits here, but there's also some songs like Know Your Enemy that just don't abide well in this atmosphere. Like, they work, but they're not likable, and they don't serve as a song to push through the concept of this record more. Which there is a concept to this, but I'm not getting into it because it's even harder to follow than American Idiots. And now let's get into my favorite Green Day album of all time, 2000s release, Warning. It's great. It is so good. Do you imagine if Green Day was a folk band? The amount of awesome tunes we'd get. Macy's Day Parade, Waiting, all the songs on standout tracks, and like Warning, the title track, and Castaway, Misery even too. There's so many good songs here. If you don't like this album, I'll be kind of surprised. Like if you're like a huge Green Day fan and you think like something like fucking like Trey is better than Warning, I'd be like, dude, what? Like, I'm happy this is not praised, but it's liked, and for good reason. It is a very well written, well constructed, not well commercialized. This album didn't do very well. I think even critics were a little confused on it. I don't think they hated it, but it did not do very well commercially. Of course, you have your hit like Blood, Sex, and Booze and Macy's Day Parade, but besides that, I don't really have much else to say about this. I love this album to death. It is quite great. It has just a very fun feel to it. It's like a folk rock album that is just so fun to listen to, and it's so likable. It's everything that I want Green Day to be. And that's all I got for you folks. Thank you for watching the PowerPoint presentation. I know this video is a little awkward like most music videos, but hey, it gives it like an authenticity kind of vibe. It's not a great vibe, but like I'm not gonna take it away because I'm too lazy to get better. Average score 48.1 out of 100, which is not very good to say the least. Personal score 6.5 out of 10, which isn't great, but it's a little respectable. I don't hate Green Day, but I hate the direction that they're going in. There's just if they drop an album like next year and it's like Father of All, oh my god, I will be ready to. Okay, tell you this: if Green Day makes another album and it's similar to Father of All, I will make an album review on it and I will tear that album apart. I might actually make like a script for that album and just like go full in depth as to why that album is garbage. Because if it's like Father of All, it'll be bad. But yeah, that's all I got for you folks. Make sure that if you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, comment what you want to see next. To be really appreciated. Yeah, that's all. Have a great day.